All right, so here we go. Operating with scientific notation. This is your section 3-4, and there's 4 things we're going to look at. We're going to look at addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, addition and subtraction, this is the trickiest, so that's what we're going to start with. So the big thing to remember here is you need the same power of 10. And once you get that, then you just need to add or subtract the multipliers, the number in front of the 10, right with your 10 to the power of some exponent. Adjust the decimal if needed. So what does that mean? Well, let me see. Let me show you. All right, so here I have 2.8 times 10 to the 5th plus 3.2 times 10 to the 4th. These do not have the same exponent. So this 5, I want to make a 4, just like this guy. And so if I do that, I need to move my decimal 1 place to the right, because then that means I only need to move it 4 more places to be the same. So if I go 1 place to the right, my exponent goes from 5 down to 4. So I have 28 times 10 to the 4th. These are the same numbers, just written in a different way. But when I rewrite that number like that, now I've got 10 to the 4th and I've got 10 to the 4th. So the multipliers, these numbers here in front, I take those away, or not away, I group those together. So there's 28 plus 3.2. 28 plus 3.2. So that all together times my exponent, which I made the same, which is the 10 to the 4th. Now my answer I get there is 31.2 times 10 to the 4th. Remember, scientific notation, I only want one number on the left of the decimal. So I have to take this decimal and I have to put it back. So I'm going to move it 1 more spot over to the left. So if I move to the left, my number has to get bigger. I go from 4 up to 5 because I moved it 1 spot. So that's why it goes up by 1 number. So the answer for this would be 3.12 times 10 to the 5th. Now if I'm subtracting, I'm going to do the same thing. For subtracting, I've got an example here. 1.43 times 10 to the 6th minus 5.2 times 10 to the 4th. Now these exponents are not the same. So if I choose to make this exponent the same, I need to go from 10 to the 4th to 10 to the 6th. I need to make it bigger. And so I'm going to move my decimal to the left. Moving decimals to the left makes your exponent bigger. Moving decimals to the right makes your exponent smaller. So I want to move it 2 spots because there's 2, going from 4 to 6 is 2 spots. So I'm going to move it 1, 2. So I rewrite this as 0.052 times 10 to the 6th. Then I take my multipliers, 1.43 minus 0.052, put them in parentheses. There's my multipliers, and I subtract those, times 10 to the 6th. Why 10 to the 6th? Because that's the exponent that I chose to make them both equal to. And when I do this math, that 1.43 minus 0.052, that's equal to 1.378. And times my exponent, which is 10 to the 6th. Now let's do another example. What if I have negative exponents? For all of this, it doesn't matter if you have a negative or a positive exponent, it still does the same thing. So I have 2.43 times 10 to the negative 3rd. Over here, I've got 2.1 times 10 to the negative 2nd. I want to make that negative 2nd be a negative 3rd. That's a smaller number because it's becoming more negative. I have to make it smaller by 1. So I'm going to take that decimal and I'm going to move it to the right. Moving it to the right will make my exponent smaller. Moving it to the left makes my exponent bigger. So once I move it, now I've got 2.43 times 10 to the negative 3rd plus 21 times 10 to the negative 3rd. I add my 2.43 and my 21 together, and I get 23.43 times 10 to the negative 3rd, because that's the exponent I chose to make them both. Now, because there's more than one number to the left of that decimal, I have to move that decimal back. And which direction am I going? I'm going to the left. And since I'm going to the left, I go 1 exponent larger. So negative 3 becomes negative 2. So the answer is 2.343 times 10 to the negative 2nd. Do a couple more examples of this. We'll pause this video and then we'll do the multiplication division. So 1.34 times 10 to the negative 4th minus 5.2 times 10 to the negative 5th. I want to make this -4 into a -5, so that number is getting smaller. That means I'm going to move my decimal place over to the right. So that 1.43 times 10 to the -4th. Now I write that 13.4 times 10 to the -5th. I'm still subtracting 5.2 times 10 to the -5th. Take my multipliers, subtract them in front. 13.4 minus 5.2 times, and the exponent I chose was 10 to the -5th. This time when I do my subtraction, I end up with 8.2. I don't need to move that decimal, so that's nice. It makes it easier for me. I have 8.2 times 10 to the -5th. All right, so you try these couple, and then come back and we'll do the multiplication.